Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Fictional Motivation. I'm your host, Quan. Like I said, I've been kind of playing around with music here and there. And today, I'm going to be making this kind of as quick as possible, kind of straight to the point. I'm taking a new approach as to how to do some of these videos. But with that being said, the subject we're going to be diving into is Quiet Place 2. On raising the next generation to be able to kill our monsters. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. And here we go. This is the synopsis from Google, which is following the events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path. First of all, as a horror movie, as a horror fan, I loved it. This is actually one of the few times where a horror movie made an awesome sequel. I know it's rare. Because when you look at some horror movies, we gotta really be honest. It's not really that it was a good sequel, it's that they came up with some interesting ways to take out people most of the time. But I thought this was a very awesome sequel for it. But how I link this in is when you see pretty much in the beginning of the first one, you know that they're pretty much taught to adapt. And during these times, during a certain amount of time, it's good to adapt. But after a certain amount of time, once you find out something, you got to start figuring out ways to not just adapt and just survive. You got to figure out a way how to adapt and possibly conquer, how to possibly end it. And that's why I liked not only the ending of the first movie, but close to the beginning of the second movie, because the second movie, if you saw it, it kind of did before all this happened, how all this happened kind of thing, and then it went right back to what they're currently going through, which I thought they did that very well. Most of the time, I'm very iffy about when they do pretty much a prequel and then go right to the movie. That really gets under my skin. I'm just like, why not just go ahead and do the prequel first? But that's just me. But I like how they did this, like how they did it in this style. It kind of made me mull over a little bit. Anyway, we see how after, in the second one, they become more adept at taking out these creatures. Mostly the family. And then at the end of the movie, you see how the siblings, in the end, were the people that took out the creatures, which I think is a giant metaphor for, to me, how parenting kind of should be. Now, right now, I don't have kids, and like I said, this is a perspective on how I see parenting thanks to that movie. Like I said, it's perspectives, not set in stone, I'm not degrading nobody, but how I see that scene, it kind of symbolizes to me that if you have kids, or if I had kids, I pretty much should be able to raise them up to where the issues that I had, the issues that I came across, they should be able to knock it out in close to level 1 fashion. Like, in the beginning, and using the movie as reference, they had issues with these creatures. Then pretty much at the end of the second movie, now they're able to fight off these creatures effectively. They know how to handle these creatures effectively. And I view the same thing pretty much with parenting in a way. It's like pretty much if you happen to be going through a certain issue, your main job, if you have a kid, is to make sure that your kid not only doesn't have that issue, but they're able to conquer that issue a lot more easier than you did, to pass on that information to them. And that can be applied not only through certain disciplinary habits, that can be applied pretty much through finances, If you pretty much have a business and you got a kid, why not show your kid how to run a business? Why not give them the ins and outs of a business? I'm not saying they should be pretty much focused on being able to own your business, but they should at the very least know the ins and outs of how to run a business and how to do it effectively. Even in my case, if I were to do it in my case, if I had kids, most of y'all know that I'm pretty much a martial arts and a fitness guy, is I'd make sure that one of my rules is that pretty much my kids would know martial arts. My kids would know how to push themselves physically so they can be fit, so they can be able to take on the outside world effectively. And that's just on my basis. So how I pretty much would go through with this is we should be able to teach the next generation how to take care of our current problems. I think when you look at it, this is missing in a lot of households when I look at it. Only because you see a lot of people who are still dealing with issues, and now when you see their kid, you can kind of see that those kids are going to have to fight those same issues that you are still going over. That's why I'm a firm believer that before you have, like I said, it's my belief, I'm not set in stone, but it's pretty much my belief that pretty much before you possibly have kids, you should be able to conquer most of your demons. You should be able to have less of your issues. Like I said, it is a viewpoint. It's not set in stone. Know that I put that there, but I'm also sympathetic. I understand some things happen, some tough situations occur, unexpected events pop up. But I think that the last thing that you should do is you should pass on your demons, your monsters to your kid. You should be able to teach them to handle you should be able to teach them to handle the monsters that you struggled with. You should be able to teach them so that not only they're able to handle the monsters that you struggled with a lot better, but so they can handle their monsters in the future a little bit better. And that's my take on the movie. So, and pretty much I'm about to kind of revert back to it. This doesn't even have to apply to your kids. This can apply to actually if you're a teacher, if you're a coach, if you are in any way, shape, or form able to stick with a kid or someone who's way younger than you long enough, you should be able to give them the gift, the knowledge of defeating one of the monsters that you had issues with, or giving them the gift of being able to take out the monsters that they might be dealing with that are similar to yours. And that's my take on it. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe. Please tell me what you think. Still doing my Beast Hunter fitness experiment. Right now I'm gaining a lot of nice, sizable leanness and muscleness. I'm changing it up just a bit, so that pretty much it can get me the proper gains, so that when I go into the next phase of my fitness training starting close to New Year's, then I'll be focused on pretty much leaning out, so I can pack on the muscle a little bit, be able to save it, use it, make it big, and then when I lean out, I'll be able to keep more of it when I lean out a bit more. But with that being said, hope you're staying awesome. Be good, be safe, and as always, respect the geekdom. Deuces.